Okay, here is the final video of the final testing procedure before I bury all the cables and put them in there correctly. So what I have here is a 15.5 kilowatt hour battery system with an 8,000 watt inverter. I'm set up on an 8 gauge PV cable, which is this area right here. And this is an MP14-50 plug system, big monster. And it's just a basic plug, so aren't those cables in the back. And right now we're going to go in here and we're going to take a look at what we have. We're generating 9 amps at, page 1, 2, and we're generating about 1,000 watts right now, and it's only about 8:30 in the morning, or whatever time it is. It's not doing too well. Sun's not hitting the solar panels yet, but we're doing pretty doggone good. And that's my main controller right there. Everything looks fantastic. I'm excited to see what's going on. And so I'm going to be burying these, and these are going to go in through the roof and come down the back side. All right, and inside here is where the battery system lies. All right, let's go over here, and we're going to come outside. And we got them going through the wall right now. We'll cover that up soon, shortly. The PV cables right here, they run through the garage, which they'll be running over the top of the roof eventually. And then they're going to turn around and they're going to go up inside here, and they'll fly all the way down into here. And then the battery will probably live right about there, and I'll cool that down with a different system. Okay, over here I got my transfer switch. You notice that 1450 plug system. Here it is right here. That's the transfer switch. If you notice, all the power's on, and this time I took the AFCIs. These are called AFCIs, arc fault circuit interrupters. There's two of them that are connected in series here, and not in series but in parallel. And what happens here is that these things were tripping on me. So what I decided to do was try to turn them off. Well, I turned them off, and sure enough, I have power to everything because it isolated the transfer switch directly to the unit inside here, where you've seen in another video where I actually wired this whole thing up. And I find that by turning these AFCIs off, it doesn't turn around and back up the power. And it allows the GFCIs, which is the ground fault circuit interrupter, not to be misunderstood for the AFCIs, which is the arc fault circuit interrupter. And AFCI is just a GFCI plus. So without going into too much detail and electronic demean here, I recognize the fact that if I just isolate that 100% and turn it off, that it wouldn't trip out, and it would still allow me to use the GFCIs, which are in the bedroom. Okay, so let's call it from there. So right now here we've got our transfer switch, and that transfer switch is holding all the power. It's currently running right now. It's actually not running much at all because simply speaking, I'm looking at these meters, see? And you don't want to get those meters 50-50. It means you're really powering the plunge. And that's a 50 amp system right there, by the way. It's one of the bigger brands. I've got a dual pole, which is 230s, if you notice that. That runs my well. And this over here, these 20s right here, they run the microwaves, and I forgot what that one was, but there was a reason for it. I should have wrote that down up there, right? But whatever, and these are 15 basic lighting systems, lighting sockets, your standard sockets, okay? So let's go ahead and roll through there. Let's go ahead and take a look at outside, and let's go ahead and see how this PV cable rolls out, okay? So this is all gonna get buried. I've got 10 footers coming in here pretty shortly, and these 10 footers will turn around, and this is not a wire, this is a bungee cord that holds that holds down everything after it's done. Anyway, so what's going to happen here is this is an emergency shutoff. It's also a shutoff from the solar system. And what happens is these guys right here, I installed this all myself, buried everything into the ground, about 3 to 4 feet, and put concrete all the way through all of them. Basically made some joists on the top of it. And then I cross-membered it over there with the 2x6s right here, as you can see. All right, so the big thing is keeping your solar panels clean. Always keep them clean, because cleanliness will inhibit the flow, and then you'll get what's called voltage backup, and it'll heat up one side or the other. This is what's called a 4S, 4 in series, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is positive, negative, negative to positive, positive, negative, negative to positive. And over here, the same situation, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, okay? So what you do is you take your negative, negative, and that's where you go into this parallel. And then you take your positive, positive, so you notice there's a double positive right here, and then that's gonna come together. And then what we do is we lead this into a splitter, and then we do it into what's called a junction box of sort. And this junction box takes them all up and boom, bang, boom, shoves it into the PV cable, and we're good to go. So everything looks fantastic. I'm very impressed. Like I said, these most of these things right here are just designed as just cutoff switches for the most part. They're 60 amperes. I just wanted to get something really big. I didn't want nothing to cause any impedance, okay? Because you got to think about impedance. That's where 8 AWG and 10 AWG goes. I could have used a 10 AWG on these wiring, but I opted to go ahead and roll directly with an 8 AWG, all right? And everything's going to be 8, and this is, like I said, the final test. These will be, you notice that these solar panels are not completely up. These are 450 watters, and they produce, I forgot the actual number, but they'll push out the exact amount for my 15.5 kilowatt hour battery Evo. All right, so looks pretty good. Very impressed with it. Let's go up underneath there and take a look at what's going on underneath so you can get a general idea, and then I'll walk the wires for you. Okay. All right. So if you notice, we go up underneath here and see how you get the positive and the negative right there hooked together? This is called a series, right? And then you go over to the other side, positive and negative again. Okay. And always watch for, make sure no bees are hanging around here. Wasp. Okay, positive, negative. Then it goes to negative over there, right? Comes off there, negative. Let's go ahead and follow that wire. Let's go follow the negative for a second, okay? So the negative here is going up inside here, but then it goes into here, okay? So where's it go from here? Well, right now it's currently going through a splitter, okay? Which is gonna be changed out here pretty shortly. And that negative goes all the way over to this other negative over here, okay? And there it is right there. And this is where the parallel comes in. 4S2P, that's how they call it. 4S2P, and then the negative rolls up. So what I'm trying to do is get my voltage up, is what I'm trying to do, because the inverter requires a minimum 90 volts to turn on, believe it or not. Yeah. And too much amperage will overwhelm the wires. So voltage is increased, as we know, by a series, correct? So if everything's in series, you'll end up getting, if that's like 13, 13, 13, 13, or 23 or 43, you should end up getting 120 volts off of all that at its maximum sun, okay? And therefore, and it's 13 amps, and so the amperage doesn't increase, just the voltage increases. Now when you go parallel, now the amperage increases. So you get the same voltage, but you get double the amperage. So there's a little bit more complication to it, but it's not too dramatic, especially if you say it right. All right, let's go take a look over here. This is my setup in here. Pretty nice little home, very blessed. So let's go over here right now, and let's just double check everything, make sure everything's good. Looks good. These are off. These are off. So my bedroom number 3, family room, kitchen, and nook is good. And I already verified that. Okay, let's go back over here. There we go. So let's see what we're doing today. Okay, now we're up to 15.5 amps. Sun's coming up. 15.5 amps, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to page 2, and it says I'm putting out 128 volts. Okay, so not bad. So you add the 199 plus 1221, I'm putting out about 1,360 volts, not bad. And it's right now currently using 240 watts. That's the fan. It's got an internal fan on it. You'll notice right here, that's an internal fan exhaust, internal fan intake on this side, and they turn on both at the same time. Really good system. The big thing about this system you got to keep in mind, always keep in mind, is that you've got to turn around and charge it all the way up to max, drain it all the way down to 20% or whatever it is, charge it again, do it about 3 times, get the memory to understand itself, and the logic, internal logic. Now, they told me that it doesn't make any difference and it should be just fine, but I seem to see that if you go all the way up to the top and go all the way to the bottom, it takes care of business. So today we're going to go all the way to the top. Currently we're at 68%, and the only reason we're at 68% is because we were just running 2,460 watts. The well pump was actually pulling in quite a bit. And I've got all the lights on in the place. And I'm running 240 watts, and I'm currently operating my freezer, the freezers, and fans. So it doesn't really take as much watts as you'd think. So I'm pretty impressed by all that. All right, folks. Oops, you didn't need to see that bedroom. That's my wife's going to get mad when I show that video. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look here. Everything seems to be okay. Again, battery Evo, rock and roll. So far, I'm okay with it. Their tech service, they won't give you much information. You're going to have to figure this all out on your own. Be honest with you, I think it's a liability issue that they can't tell you too much, but whatever. Regardless of the whole fact, it's a great system, and so far, very well impressed. Let's call it a day, and we'll talk more.